Yo, Bo, we got another pickup edition here in the Life, and a package just showed up today from Canada. I will say this: I've gotten a few other things in the mail, including another two more packages from Canada um, over the past week and weekend, and I will be sharing those pickups later this week. The plan is to do so before Christmas, so and I also have some pickups from the Mitchell and Ness store to share as well. And like I said, I'll do a pickup vid for everything else. By the end of the week. And happy Christmas week to all of you. Happy Hanukkah to those who celebrate Hanukkah, of course. And the holidays are, yeah, I mean they're definitely here. So anyhow, I got this box. Came in the mail today. A much anticipated package from Memorable Authentic. That's the name of the custom place that I was able to acquire this item from. It was a very difficult item to get out of the Reverse Retro 2.0s that came out a bit ago. Although a lot of the people who make hockey jersey videos, they all got one from the initial drop. Somewhere, somehow, wherever they got them from. Every single one. You see people who do nothing but hockey pickups, hockey, jersey or sweater, or, whatever you want to call it, pickups. And anyone has like a reverse retro 2.0, they all were able to acquire one. But some of us had to find another way. Because, like I said, the most frustrating thing to me about the drop of the reverse retro 2.0s from the Fanatics umbrella was the fact that when the jerseys came out, everything came out around 9 a.m. but the Capitals. And sometime during the day, they filtered out and everyone knew about it but me. So I couldn't get it originally from Fanatics. One of the Fanatic sources, whether it was, NHL Shop or, what have you. But it is what it is. Thanks to one of our members in the community pointing me out to Memorable Authentic. He got his from there. And they did have the customization option. So, yeah, I definitely wanted an OV in it. Congrats to OV for his 800 goals. I don't believe he has since passed Gordie Howe. I think he's still one behind Gordie, two behind of passing the great Gordie Howe. And, of course, you have the great one at number one in Gretzky. So there's three players who have 800 goals or more in the history of the NHL, and Ovechkin is the most recent, and of course the current player who is playing today. So definitely, I have a few Ovechkin jerseys. The reverse retro 1.0, the red screaming eagle is Ovechkin. So why not get Ovechkin with the second reverse retro jersey and the second screaming eagle that we've seen. And for all of what I've seen of it, I think it's an awesome looking jersey. I think they really, hit the nail on the head with it. There's a lot of people who, they've nitpicked it here and there, with the Capitals word mark on the bottom or whatever. It's just one of those things. I like it. I think there were two different jerseys that they wore of the Screaming Eagle. They never wore a black one. This is, first with that on a black jersey. But they had the one with the Capitals word mark on the bottom and the one without it on the bottom. That's the only difference between the jersey was, and I believe it was the white jersey that had this. Because the white jersey of the two, the white jersey was the one they wore longest. The blue one they had, and then they just wore the alternate black became their primary road jersey. So when Ovechkin was a rookie, that jersey was their primary road jersey. The white Screaming Eagle was the home, and I have that Ovechkin rookie in my collection. So for that particular jersey, there was some time where they had the Capitals word mark on the bottom, and they didn't have it on the bottom. So it's just one of those things, you know. But here is the jersey. I'm going to open up the box. I hope this came out good. This is the first I'm seeing this, so I'm opening this with you. Okay. So I'm gonna open this thing and let you get a little sneak peek. Some YouTubers will do this, so you get the first view. I don't know how good a view is it. I can't see the camera right now, but you're kind of seeing it. And I am going. Oh yeah, I see that 8. I see that ocho. So definitely, it's customized to the player I asked for, which is good. Which is good. So we're gonna take it out. Again, I'll let you have the first. Oh, okay. Well, there's the order paper that I did not make the goalie save on. Fell on the ground. And here it is. You can see it. It's still obviously in the bag. But oh no. Don't let Festive see this. Festive, the devout Flyers fan that Festive is, as well as me. But I've been known to dabble when it comes to jerseys and different things. So, like I said, I've always respected his goal scoring prowess. It's like he's great at doing one thing, but he's just great at doing it is scoring goals. I watched a highlight. I think ESPN put it together. It was on YouTube. You can probably still find it if you do the search. There was all 800 of his goals. And it was really fast. It was showing one after another, and it was funny to me, seeing it, but also seeing all the different variations of the Capitals jerseys that he's worn over the years. Of which I'll probably never own all of them, but I'll have a few. This will not be the last Ovi jersey in the collection. But that was pretty cool, and a lot of his goals are kind of from that one spot he has. They might as well just call it the Ovechkin spot. He just has that one spot. A lot of power play goals he scored from basically that spot that he just positions himself in. But I almost feel like after he retires, the Capitals should put an 8 there or something on the ice at that one spot. The Ovechkin spot. All right, let's take this out. So it is an Adidas Authentic Prime Green, if I'm not mistaken. And, ooh, wow, that is, Mac, that is Dazzle Twill. Okay, yes, Prime Green. Let's see where it is. It's an Indo. So I've gotten some even from Canada, and they haven't been Canadians that made. So, excuse me. It's an Indo made, and oh my goodness. Oh, there it is. Woo. Woo. Oh, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Look at this. Oh, this is beautiful. This is really, really nice. So, we're going to... Yep, you got the Screaming Eagle. You got the Captain C. There you have it right there. It does have that dazzle for the copper areas. It does have the Capitals on the bottom, which some people have complained about, but that's how they did wear it, with the Capitals on there. And I know there were 2 variations of it, one with Capitals on the bottom, one with not, but it just adds a little to the jersey. Very, very nicely stitched. I want to almost say it's triple stitched, but I want to look inside I want to see that 8. Give me that ocho. Let me see that ocho on the inside. All right, I can't find it. All right, there it is. Oh, yeah. Triple stitching, as you can see, on that 8. And again, these were this was custom done. This was custom ordered. They did have, basically, you had an opportunity to get the blank jersey and an opportunity custom to a player you want for a slightly, more, just like you would on like Cool Hockey or anything like that. You got the NHL shield right there on the front in that old school orange. Capitol buildings on the, the secondary logo, which was their primary logo on the black jersey back in the day, on the crest for the black jersey back in the day, which I still want to get someday, but on the shoulders. But it was like that on the shoulders for the Screaming Eagle jersey. That's basically where this logo originated from. You got the 8s triple stitched. Really, really nicely done. You have the, again, look at that shine. Oof. The copper, dazzle twill for the copper. You got blue and white. I'm going to turn it around. Yep. The Adidas logo, of course. Again, for the 2.0s and for the prime green, you do not have Adidas on the bottom. It's just the logo. Ovechkin. Yep, triple stitched right onto the nameplate. The 8 as well, triple stitched. Beautiful jersey. Yeah, so memorable, authentic. Thank you very much. This is exactly what I wanted, and I'm glad to have been able to get it from your company because I couldn't get it anywhere else. And I wasn't going to pay those stupid eBay prices that people want for these. My God. People want near $500 for these on eBay. Really? Now, eventually those numbers are going to go down because, they are kind of oversaturated on eBay with these. Not just Ovechkin, but like Wilson and Oshie and, there's a lot of them. Let me give you a shot of the inside. Washington 2005. Right there. And you see the prime green logo on the inside. Indo made. Right there. And the cool thing about the 05 is Ovechkin, if I remember correctly, was a rookie in 05. So that's why they kind of chose 05 as the number, as the year. That was his rookie season. Good look at that captaincy there, triple stitched as well. And again, the big, bold Screaming Eagle logo on the front. This is such a beautiful jersey. This, well worth the wait. This was well worth the wait for me. And I definitely want, like, this was the one when the 2.0s were announced and you got a glimpse of all of them. All due respect to my Flyers, but this was the one that I wanted the most out of all of them. And that's why I was so disappointed, like, when they first came out and they were first available on NHL Shop, the Capitals jersey, for whatever reason, did not come out right away with everything else. It's almost like they knew something. I swear you had slippers available for the Capitals in the reverse retro, the black Screaming Eagle, but not the jersey. Like, everyone wants the jersey. Where's the jersey? They had every single jersey, all the other teams but the Capitals. And that's what screwed me up. Originally. Now, look, it worked out okay for me. I got it. It custom done. Beautiful. I think Memorable Authentic did an amazing job with it. It looks really sharp. The stitching is just, it's immaculate in my opinion. Really, really well done. The jersey itself is a really nice jersey. And it is. It's a legit, there's nothing, it's not a knockoff or something. So it's the legit, prime green, made in Indo, reverse retro 2.0 for the Screaming Eagle Capitals that was customed into Ovechkin. With all the correct fonts and all the correct to the Capitals. And to the point where the C is on the other side because of the wings of the eagle. For anyone wondering why the C it's supposed to be. No, this is how they did it. Because of the logo. So if you look at the Capitals jersey back in the day with the Screaming Eagle, you'll notice the same thing. Unique to the Capitals for this particular logo. Now I have all of the jerseys that the Capitals have worn this. I have the original blue for Peter Bondra. I have the OV rookie white one. I have the red 1.0. And now I have the 2.0 black for the grade 8 as well as the the 1.0 red. And of course, I already had these available for them, right? Because I was able to get from from the drop when they originally hit. So there's the hat for it. And of course, recently I was able to acquire this one, this bad boy. This is going to go with it very well as well. Oh no! Oh, the Capitol building with the Capitol building. Oh, come on! Woo! Wait till you see this thing put together. Breaking next. So anyhow, there is that. I'm very pleased with this. You order from a company you've never ordered from. Of course, there's going to be a little trepidation. There's going to be a little worry. Oh, how's it going to be when it comes in? Am I going to be happy? Am I going to be? Oh no. And so I was a little concerned, to do this, but I wanted to do this live with all of you, the wonderful viewers that I have to this channel, and I can't be happier with that. That's awesome. So thank you very much to Memorable Authentic, based in Canada. You stay classy, Canada. Got it right from the source, right? You're gonna get a hockey jersey, you might as well get it from Canada. Even though the jersey is not made in Canada, it's made. I do find that kind of interesting, even. And I'm sure there's made in Canada, the made in Canada ones out there. But to this point, I don't have one. They've all been Indo-made. So yes, I do have others. I picked up my first ever Cool Hockey pickup. I had the Ducks 2.0 reverse retro made from Cool Hockey. I got a Tyler Zegras in that, and I do have it. I'm just not going to show it right now. I will wait for the next the vid later in the week with the other pickups. And I did get another hockey jersey from eBay. And that one came from Canada too. It's slightly older, not like a reverse retro 2.0 or something else, but it's one from recent years that I had an opportunity at, and so I went for it. So excited for that. Actually, those two came in the mail just the other day. Opened the packages. My buddy Big Slim was here visiting over the weekend, so I kind of did the unveiling down here in the man cave with them. Very, very pleased with those. Big Slim and I did take a trip over this weekend to the Mitchell & Ness store, the flagship in Philly. They were doing a 40% off deal. I took advantage. I got a few things. We also were able to go to the corporate office in Philly. Got a little tour in there. Very cool stuff. It's one of those if you know type things. So very nice of them to invite us to that. Saw some old run stuff in there. We didn't get a chance to see the basement where they keep a lot of their sample, stuff or whatever from over the years. Maybe another time we'll be able to do that. They only allow you in there for like a half hour or so. And they do have some things, current stuff, but some clearance stuff and whatnot that you can purchase there. So a lot of the time was kind of spent in that little area in the back. But we were able to see some of the old run, stuff from the Peter Capolino years, kind of just hanging around in there. The vintage stuff from the Jersey Boom days. I saw a very nice Dick Allen Phillies jersey that I was salivating over. Peter, if you ever want to let that go. I still need a Dick Allen Phillies jersey. It's bugging me. But that was very cool. Very cool wool flannel. I believe a 69. It had the MLB 100th under. Boy, that thing was nice. But they're out there. I know Slim has one. It's from a different year. A wool flannel Dick Allen Phillies. But just seeing it just reinforces they're out there. Just someday. Someday I'll come across one on eBay, hopefully. But that was very cool. It was nice to see some of that stuff, and even got a little sneak peek at some stuff they could be making next year. Not a lot of jerseys we saw, but there were some. Oh, there's this one Rams jacket. Mm. That may have to happen. Um, so there's that. I know this site was doing a sale too. I did take advantage. I didn't think I would. At that point, I'm like, I already spent X amount. I'm like, but as resin, my fellow Jersey heads know, there is that paying for that I love so much. Available on PayPal. So yeah, I took advantage of that. I have another paying for going. Actually, I have two more going. Cause I'm gonna get into it when I get them in the mail. I thought it would be kind of cool to like pick a team that I really enjoyed watching back in the day, and try to collect some jerseys from that team. Now, will I get every single jersey? Probably not, but collect some jerseys, hats, different stuff that just represents that one particular team, and kind of call it like do an annual deal with it, do like some sort of MightyFan honor roll, thing with it, and it won't be a Philly team because I have some. I mean, the Philly teams that just goes without saying. With me, it's like, of course, the Philly teams are top of the list for me always, right? And so anytime we have the history of a team like from the past that won, like the Bullies and the Flyers, or the 82-83 Sixers, or the 80 Phillies, I have a lot of stuff for those teams, even though I was a little too young when they won, or wasn't around in the Flyers case. But I have a lot of respect for those teams, and I have a lot of jerseys and paraphernalia, for all those, title teams, and even teams that didn't win titles, like the '93 Phillies, the '01 Sixers, some of those Flyers teams that made runs and came up a bit short, like in the the '80s Flyers, or the '97 or the 2010 Flyers that I saw, lose in the finals. And the Sixers, obviously, I did mention '01. Obviously, they had many years back in the late '70s, early '80s when they were like one of the best teams in the league, just couldn't get that chip until '82-'83 when Moses helped them put it over the top. And yeah, since that, they've only been the one. In '01, which I saw with Iverson, and that Laker dynasty was just too good. But nice one by my Sixers tonight against the Raptors in overtime. That was a pretty cool finish. But the Eagles, obviously Super Bowl 52. That can't be touched. And I know they're on a run this year. I know Jalen hurt his shoulder, whatever, but he'll be fine. I think we really dodged a bullet. But Slim and I watched that game. We were right down here in the man cave watching it. We're just yelling, why aren't they running the ball? What do they do? They keep passing, and then they run Jalen. He's just getting thumped left and right, and apparently, one of those thumps, the guy landed on his shoulder, but he'll be okay, So that's that was one of those moments. All due respect to Mr. Minshew, Nick Foles, I don't think he is. So if it had to be him the rest of the way, yeah, we're done. But it's been a great season, and I know I haven't done Season of the Fan. I apologize about that. I thought I'd make a video this week, and surprise visit from Slim. In fact, as I was finishing my last video here on YouTube, I saw his message come up about, hey, you want to get together? I'm like, okay, and I'm like looking at the message, and I'm finishing my vid. So it was a nice visit from Slim, and he's doing well. I hope he has safe travels. I know he plans on visiting with family over Christmas, so hopefully that all goes well for you there, fam. And it was great seeing you. It was great having some time hanging out. I know we had some adventures. Why Taco Bell isn't open? I don't understand. There's a Taco Bell not far from here that tried to go to a couple times, not go through the drive-thru, actually go in there and sit and eat, and the door they weren't. It's like, why? Why can't you just go there and eat? It makes no sense, but it is what it is. But aside from that, everything went well. And we had a good time. We had a good time. We had a good time on Saturday at Mitchell and Ness. And it's like I said about Mitchell and Ness. That's why I still have, feel the way I do about the company, because it's just nothing but good experiences there at the store. I can't talk about the website. The website, they they definitely need to improve. But as far as in-store experiences, it's all been great, and the employees there, I've gotten to know some of the employees there. I know the retail industry is very tough, and people kind of come and go, but I've always had good experiences there. It's a place that I believe me, believe me. If I went there as many times as I probably could go there, I would, you might as well just keep like a chair there for me. I don't. I go there here and there. Particularly sales, even when it's not sales, just to kind of look around and kind of see the stuff. That's the old school way of doing things that I still miss. Because when you can go and you can look at the thing and maybe try it on, see if this fits you right or whatever, and look in the mirror and say, okay, this is it. Really feel the material, get a good look at the jersey. And I know over in recent years they made a lot of mistakes with some of the authentics and whatnot. So some of the jerseys, to see them in person instead of just looking at the stock photos online, it's just so much better. And I understand I'm in a situation where I live close enough to the city that I can go there and I can do that. And I know not everyone can do that, right? But it's still something that I enjoy doing. I like going out to these stores and seeing the product and getting a good look. And whether it's jerseys, whether it's hats, right? It's the same thing. Sometimes you might see something that it's like, the stock photo didn't look that great. Then when you see it in hand, it's like, ooh, this is better than I thought it was going to look. All right, that kind of sways my opinion on wanting to get it. And sometimes it's the other way, too. Sometimes you see a stock photo, you're like, ooh, that looks kind of cool. And you see it in hand, and it's like, yeah, the color's not quite there. It's not exactly what I thought. And maybe you go in the other direction, and you don't pick it up, and you go after something else. Um, so, that's why I love going and just seeing stuff in person. I understand we're in an age where you can't just go to stores, and I can't go and pick up an OV, reverse retro 2.0 authentic. It's just not something I can do. Mostly if I see any authentic around here, it might be Flyers, it might be Penguins, it might be, something like that. And I haven't even seen a lot of the authentics in store here. So, the only ones I've seen here are the Fanatic brand, ones. Or if it is an authentic, like I did see at Dick's Sporting Goods, it was just a blank Flyers one, not even the player name and number. Of course, I saw some when I went to the Flyers game. I saw some authentics, but, obviously you're at a Flyers game. That's the only team they're going to have, right? And you don't really expect them to have other teams, right, available at their shops there. So it is tough, and I understand that's the beauty of online shopping. I mean, look, I was able to get that jersey because of it. I mean, one source or a couple sources didn't have it in stock, so I was able to find it in another source, again, thanks to someone else in the group who recommended it, said that's where he's getting his. And I took a chance, but I trusted this guy because I know he's a big-time, jersey head. He gets a lot of hockey jerseys. He said he's gotten them from this company before, that they've always been good. And so, all right, I trust his opinion, so I'm going to follow the lead. So I'm glad we do. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad we have opportunities to buy things online. Most of what I get's online. I mean, that's whether it's eBay, whether it's online stores, whether it's what have you. That's the bulk of it, right? Because that's where you're going to get the bulk of your stuff. Where you live, you're only kind of limited to the local teams, or maybe you only have a selection of teams available. So if you want that special hat or jersey or something else from some other source, you have to get it online. I know we had the conversation in one of Snacks's more recent lives that he did on his YouTube channel about back in the day with the Eastbay catalog and different catalog. You had to literally order stuff through a catalog, and you had to send a check or money order out and have it come. The old days of eBay, there was no PayPal. You couldn't instantly buy something. You had to send, and you had to trust the seller. You had to send something in the mail, like a check, or a money order. I used to do it when I used to collect Mighty Mouse back in the day, and that was my first eBay experiences with Mighty. Jerseys came later for me. So when it was comic books, it was figures, it was old toys, it was all sorts, whatever I was getting back then. It was checks and money orders, believe it or not. You had to send those out in the mail, and then the seller had to send you your item after they got the check or the money order. Think about that today. How crazy that sounds, right? People would even send cash in the mail in an envelope. I mean, think about how dangerous that is, right? But it was all a trust thing back then. And again, this was before PayPal, so this was before instant, money sending. Think about the world we live in today, how easy that is. Now you have paying for us. That's bad for me. I knew it would be bad. Slim knew. When he first told me about it, he's like, I'm going to tell you about this, but it's not going to go well for you. So yeah, I'm glad to have the availability online to get to have basically your shot at just about anything you can think of. But there is also that, that old school method, right, of just going to stores, brick and mortar stores, and looking and seeing the product and picking it up. I know the Views to the Vault guys do that, right, when they go to their stores in New York on Jamaica Avenue or in, North Jersey, all these different hat stores, which every time I see one of those videos, I'm like, oh, I have to go. One of these days. So shout out to the fellas again for making those videos. I know Pierre's been very busy with that over in recent weeks on the channel. But there is just something about that when you go in there and you have that first rush of, oh my God, look at all this stuff, right? But I get it. But anyhow, off topic as always. I was talking about like that team, right? The honor roll team. So what I did was I picked up, and I know they're all the legacy jerseys. They don't have any authentics, and the only authentic they ever made for this team I own, which is the Marshall Faulk, Super Bowl jersey. But the '99 Rams, that team today. Now, obviously, I'm a big Eagles fan. That's my team. That's right. That's live and die with them week to week. Been a fan since '92, basically, the old Kelly Greens. But there's been other teams that, have come along that I've enjoyed watching, exciting teams. The '98 Vikings I remember with Randy Moss and, of course, Randall, as quarterback and all that. That was a fun team to watch, particularly when they gave it to Dallas on Thanksgiving that year. That was... Anytime Dallas loses, it's just a good thing. It warms the heart. It really, yesterday when they took it in overtime to Jackson. Oh, Dougie P, he still has that eagle in him. I'm telling you, he's on that big fist pump. It never leaves you, no matter where you go. Oh, I had some expletives after that game, yelling at Dallas as they lost. Yeah, so Slim knows. I won't repeat it now. My goodness. But yes. So there have been teams over the years that I've enjoyed watching. Have been excitable teams. They had a lot of memorable moments. And the '99 Rams were one of those teams for me. That was a team obviously coached by former Eagles coach Dick Vermeil. They had a lot of hardships over the years, from the days in L.A. Then when they moved to St. Louis, they were terrible. I mean, the Rams were one of the worst teams in the league, and then boy, they got good, and they obviously, just one of those Cinderella stories. Obviously we all know about Kurt Warner and that story, and kind of what that team developed into. And I was always a huge Marshall Faulk fan, like certain players from when I was younger, I can remember just, some of the first jerseys I owned in football, right? Obviously the Eagles. I had my first ever Eagle jersey was a starter replica Fred Barnett, which I still have, the Kelly Green in the closet over there, hanging with the rest of the Eagles jerseys. And, Jerry Rice was one of my first favorite players, Barry Sanders, their two jerseys were two of the first football jerseys, and Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk when he was a Colt, is one of my favorite players. So I always liked him. You know, and when he moved to the Rams, of course the fandom continued on with him there as a Ram, and obviously that year. That was the '99 season, and the success that they had. Now the Eagles were not good that year. I believe that was the first Andy Reid year. And the Eagles won like what 3 or 4 games, whatever it was, 3 games I believe they won that year. In fact, they ended the season winning 2 in a row, and that they always said that group of guys have said that kind of helped springboard them to start to have the success that they started having after that, right? Those years, going to NFC title games and having, success in the regular season, making playoff runs. But one of the teams they beat was late in the year. It was at the Vet, and it was that Rams team, the '99 Rams. Now the Rams had everything locked up and everything and whatnot. And both teams were just kind of playing it out at that time. But the Eagles won that game. They were one of the few teams to beat the Rams that season. And then I believe they beat the Patriots too. And that's back when Drew Bledsoe and them were the old Flying Elvis logo shoulders of the Patriots. Those Patriot teams. Yeah, so those were I think, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say they beat Dallas like week 1 on like a Charles Johnson touchdown. If I'm not mistaken, it was Doug Peterson was the quarterback at the time. To Charles Johnson, and I don't think they won a game for like how many weeks until the very end. When I think it was either the Patriots Rams or Rams Patriots. It was something like that. But I remember them beating that Rams team. But I enjoyed watching, the highlights. Now back then, you didn't have packages like you have today, on TV where you can see these games and everything. So you were basically, it was all about the highlights. And I remember then every week religiously watching, the ESPN, the Sunday Night Countdown, show with Boomer and Tom Jackson. Well, Tom Jackson. And I just remember those highlights, and every week it was must watch. You had to see what the Rams do this week, right? Now you got like in game stuff, and you did have like halftime shows and whatnot. Back then when the games were on Fox or CBS or wherever they were, but still it wasn't the whole package. It was like, okay, well here's a touchdown by Marshall Faulk or Isaac Bruce or whatever it was, right? The Rams did again. You're Kurt Warner, You might get like an in-game highlight from time to time, but it wasn't anywhere near like it would be today, where everything's so instant. You can go on your phone and you can see everything, right? You didn't have that back then. This is before this age. People don't understand how lucky they are today, okay? But I would watch that highlight show every week, and I just, you look forward to it. And just those highlights of that Rams team, and that always was fun to watch. And then obviously, they would be on TV every now and then. You get to watch them, and then obviously when they made it in the playoffs and that run and into the Super Bowl, and obviously winning by a yard to the Titans, what a great game that was. But that team kind of captured me. Because Marshall Faulk was there. Dick Vermeil, obviously, Eagle connection was there. The Kurt Warner story. Isaac Bruce was another player I always always liked. Remembered him from back in the day. So that team had some connections, at least for me. And I enjoyed that team. I enjoyed watching them. I got a Rams hat. I remember back then at I think it was Mapes. There's something like the old Mapes, 5 and dimes. And, if anyone knows what I'm talking about, it was almost like a hardware store that also had like different clothing and some other paraphernalia that you can pick up. And it was in my neighborhood. So I remember I got like a knit hat. I got the Marshall Faulk jersey back then. I got his Rams jersey from a local sports shop because I had his Colts jersey and I wanted his Rams jersey, so I got it. And I want to find it. I don't know where it kind of ended up. In one of my bags of jerseys somewhere up there, my old jerseys. But it was the blue, just your regular Rams, jersey, the replica jersey, from back in those days. Wasn't the Authentics or anything like that, but it was the replica jersey, And I believe I did wear it the night of the Super Bowl. Somewhere I had the Super Bowl hat. It didn't have the teams. I remember I got it from, I think it was like a grocery store, like the weekend of the game, and it was just a black, snapback with the Super Bowl logo, which I always liked that logo, of that Super Bowl. And in years since, I picked up, I believe, from Mitchell and Ness, they had a Rams hat with the logo on the side. I got that hat. The only jersey they ever made though from that game was Marshall Faulk. And I was able to get that jersey many years ago off eBay, and it's the white jersey with the patch and beautiful. It's still today one of my favorite Mitchell and Ness jerseys. Um, and I know they made his Colts jersey and whatnot, and later year, Rams jersey since. But that jersey still is my favorite. Of all the ones they've done for Marshall, that one still is my favorite. So I do have that one. I do kind of wish they would do more authentics. For not just the Rams, but even the Titans. I mean, when they made the Steve McNair jersey, I thought they were going to do with the Super Bowl logo. It was the regular jersey. I'm like, why didn't you make the Super Bowl? Because they just did his regular Titans jersey. I'm like, yeah, but everyone remembers from that Super Bowl. Why not just put the damn patch on it and do the Super Bowl one? It is what it is, right? More money to be made later, right? And Eddie George. I mean, they could do other players, right? With the, but it is what it is. But it would be awesome if they did other Super Bowl jerseys for the Rams, because I know they have the rights to Warner and Bruce and Holt and obviously Marshall Faulk. So I don't know if that's something that might come down the road. I would hope it does, but it is what it is. So I did pick up. Long story short, as always, I did pick up all the legacy versions of the '99 Rams. I got Faulk, I got Holt, I got Bruce, and I got Warner. I got all because it was a good enough sale, and I'm like, it's 4-4. So I had quite a few '99 Rams jerseys coming in, but that's a team that, like I said, I always just liked, and I enjoyed watching them back then. I wasn't too fond of that team when they beat the Eagles in the NFC title game a few years later, but I didn't like Mike Martz. I know he created that offense and everything, but him as a head coach, I don't know. There was just something. I don't know. Like the later St. Louis Rams teams, is what is. I know the Patriots got him in that Super Bowl that started the Patriot dynasty, and yeah. So obviously that run for the Rams kind of ended there, right? They got the 2 Super Bowls, they won the one, and then they went to the second one and lost to the Patriots in 01. And that pretty much ended it, right? Because after that was pretty much it. They started trading players, and that pretty much, ended their run. But that '99 team, that was a fun team to watch. That offense was incredible. It just really was, and they they created that nickname, the greatest show on turf, and they were just on another level. It just seemed in other teams, and they came out of nowhere. But honestly, getting Marshall Faulk was a huge deal. He was really the engine of that offense. I mean, and I know Kurt Warner gets a lot of credit, and rightfully so. Kind of came out of nowhere, came in there because Trent Green got hurt in the preseason game against Baltimore, I believe. And then Kurt went in, and the rest is history, right? They believed in him, and Dick Vermeulen believed in him, and we're gonna trust in Kurt, and that all worked. He had the arm for that offense, right? He had a stronger arm, I believe, than Trent Green. He was able to make some of those throws downfield to Isaac Bruce and to Torrey Holt and Azakeem. Azakeem is still the one player I want to get. Mitchell Ness hasn't made it. They didn't get his rights, and I can't find for the life of me an Azakeem '99 jersey. I see his jerseys of later years and then that other version of the Rams jersey, but I want that '99. So that's one of the things I'm going to be doing is hunting around for more '99, Ram jerseys or something from that era. And I say '99 because that's the year. Now, those Rams wore that jersey for how many years up to that. So some of those players, yeah, I mean they've had that jersey for a number of years, but I always call it the '99 year. Excuse me. And ironically enough, that was the last year they wore that jersey. That Super Bowl that they won by a yard, that was the last time they wore that jersey, because then the next year they rebranded into more of that kind of gold and navy blue. Because they wanted to kind of become their own, right? They wanted to leave the LA colors and go to something that's more that they can really just say St. Louis Rams, right? So the logo got changed, the uniforms got changed, the colors, obviously they lost the yellow, they added gold. Um, yeah, but those old jerseys, those are just so much better. In my opinion, I didn't hate that those other jerseys they wore. I didn't like that they continued to wear them for the first few years when they moved back to LA. I thought that was a little much. They probably just should have changed right away back to the old colorway. But particularly, and I know I've talked about this with Snacks, the helmet when they used to wear like the old helmet with that like St. Louis jersey, that just didn't work at all. But it is what it is. But the '99 Rams, that's a team that I still have in high regard. Because it's one of those teams, when you're, kind of right, one of the early years of watching and the highlights and everything, and that team, will always have a have a spot for me, and partly because it was Dick Vermeil's only Super Bowl win. And obviously, he meant so much to the Eagles, the history of the Eagles franchise and reviving, the franchise back in the late '70s, early '80s, taking them to their first Super Bowl. I know they lost their eighth, right, but they got there. It was their first time, and they did beat Dallas in the NFC title game. And, Dallas fans. The team's only played once in the NFC title game. You know who won? I'm just saying. You can throw rings at me all you want. I can throw a ring back at you. And mine was more recent. I don't need a VHS tape to watch the last time your team won. So, but anyhow, yeah, the '99 Rams, that was just a fun team. Like I said, I was a big Marshall Faulk fan. So that's part of the reason I really enjoyed that team. Dick Vermeil there was another. I knew that connection with the Eagles. Didn't remember watching the Eagles back in the day when Dick was the coach here, but I do vaguely remember when he when he um, when he resigned, quit, retired, whatever. And obviously then he unretired some years later. And back then when he was with the Eagles. Um, Hall of Famer. And you think about that team and how many Hall of Fames were on that '99. How many players became Hall of Fame, players on that '99 team. And just thinking off the top of my head, obviously Dick Vermeil, the coach. You had Marshall Faulk. You had Isaac Bruce. You had Torrey Holt. You had Kurt Warner and Orlando Pace, right? At least those 5 players plus the coach. That's pretty good. When you have 6 Hall of Famers come out of that team, that's pretty good. And I don't think there was another one on that team that became a Hall of Famer, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good when you think about just an offense alone, 5 players. That's pretty crazy. But that was a fun team. That was a fun team to watch, and I've put a bunch of vintage hats, in the watch list, and I did put a couple other vintage jerseys of players from that team on the watch list. And, maybe over the next course of time, I'll be able to add some. I mean, they're all replica. There's no authentic. Back then, there really wasn't a lot of authentics made. So you basically just had, your replica jerseys. That's basically how you would get those jerseys. There may have been some authentics made, but not a whole ton. Not a whole ton. At least at that time that I can remember. And even to this day, you don't. I mean, you do a search on eBay, you don't see a lot of authentic Rams. You don't see a lot of authentic, Marshall from that era, from the '99, that old colorway, That's now their current colorway again. But you don't see a lot of Marshall Falks, Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, any of those guys. You just don't see a lot of authentics. And if you do, it's a rarity, because they just weren't produced that much back then. I mean, and just thinking like back then, it was like 1 year before 2000, and there just wasn't that many, produced at that time. At least that I could remember, or at least that I can find. And I know the Rams, I want to say they wore Puma that year, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that was a Puma year, as far as their authentic jersey is concerned, if I remember correctly. I know back then there wasn't one uniform, company that made them all. Like right now, it's Nike. You had different teams wearing different, brands. Some went Nike, some had Puma, some had Reebok, some had, Adidas, whatever it was. They kind of ran a gamut. And then once Reebok took over, when they got the contract rights for the NFL, then it became uniform one company owning all jerseys, right, or producing all jerseys. And then it's been that way ever since. So you had the Reebok era, now you have the Nike era. But prior to that, you had different teams that they had different jerseys. They had starter, they had, whatever it was. I know, like, off the top of my head, I remember the Bucks always had that Adidas logo, there on the sleeves. So they were an Adidas team. Some teams were Nike teams. I think the Packers were like a Nike team. I remember seeing the swoosh. Different, what have you, right? There was no uniform company that was making all these jerseys. And that would change, years later when Reebok, like I said, got the rights exclusively to make the uniform, and now it's Nike. So, but to find some of those like original uniforms would be tough. And the other thing that would be tough about it, as far as authentics, is they make a lot of bigger sizes back then. Like the biggest size may have been like a 48, 50, 52, but then it's pro cut. So now you're talking about, okay, well, it's not only that size, but I couldn't wear the jersey anyhow. So for me, it doesn't make a lot of sense to look for authentics back then, because, they didn't have a lot of bigger sizes, and even if they did, they were cut in a way that it would just be tough to pull off, right? Although I'm watching one. I will admit to that. I'm watching one. I really like it. Will I get it or not? We'll see. I'm not saying what it is. No. Too many vultures out there. So I know not to. I'm not bold. I know some of the jersey heads are bold and showing this is my watch list. No. You're not getting that from me. I'm secretive in that regard. But so yeah, the '99 Rams I think are one of those teams that I would say are an honor roll team for me. And getting those jerseys, like I said, I have the one. I've had it for years. The one authentic Mitchell and Ness ever made was Marshall Falk. I have that jersey. I'll probably wear that jersey when I show the other jerseys. Like I said, I would like to get some vintage stuff from that team. I would like to get some hats and some jerseys. Replica they might be, but still, it's from that time. And, we'll see. We'll see. I still want to find that Marshall. I have it somewhere. I have his Colts jersey somewhere. I have that. I have the replica Colts jersey, and I think I got it at Burlington Coat Factory. Because I remember getting the Barry Sanders and the Marshall Falk around the same time. Replica, jerseys, but still, when they were playing, back in the day. I know the Jerry Rice that I got was a Christmas gift from my dad. And that was like like my second football jersey, right? Because I had the Fred Barnett and Jerry Rice, and then I got the Barry Sanders and the Marshall Falk, back in the day. And yeah, the rest is now there's racks and racks and racks of football jerseys. But what started out as being a few just kind of ballooned. And I had a lot of replica stuff back then. I did. I got a lot of starter and champion and what have you jerseys back in the day. I still remember when Value City bought out, when starter went under and Value City bought all that stuff. Oh boy. Oh my goodness, that was Christmas. That was going to Value City and seeing the racks and mostly it was all replica stuff. But hey, you couldn't tell me nothing back then. it was jerseys, and it was just racks of them at deep discount prices. Oh boy. Oh yeah. But I did get one authentic back then. I got my Curtis Martin Jets starter authentic. The green jersey. I got that one back then. I didn't get the Randy Moss. That would come later. That would come many years later that I got my authentic starter Randy Moss. But Martin, I got that one. That was the only one. I got my Jeremy Rowan at Kachina jersey back then. Yeah, that was fun when they bought up, and they had everything. They had jerseys, they had sweatshirts, hoodies, just all the starter brand stuff. I got some Eagle stuff back then. I got my Donovan McNabb jersey, his rookie jersey, replica form, but still, I got that back in the day at Value City, and just yeah, I miss stuff like that. I do. I see I miss stuff like that when there would be a buyout and you could go to one of those places and just see it all there. Man, you couldn't tell me anything back then about it has to be authentic. It has to be authentic. No, they were jerseys. See, even back then, I had the jersey head in me. I did. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. Getting those jerseys. I know they're legacy form, and people, whatever it is, right? Sometimes you can only get what you can. If they don't make the authentics, you go with the next best thing. And like I said, I do hope they do authentic form in them. I do. They're beautiful jerseys. Those Rams jerseys back then, particularly if they make the Super Bowl ones, the white jerseys. I can tell you that Falk Super Bowl jersey is still today, of all the football jerseys I have that Mitchell & Ness has ever done, that I have in my collection, that Marshall is still, to me, a top 5. It's just, yeah, it's so nice. It just really is. And like I said, I had fond memories of that particular team. And, Marshall, right? I can still hear Boomer saying that, back in those days. So anyhow, that is something that will be coming in the mail eventually. Obviously, at this time of year, things are a little delayed with shipping and whatnot. The Warner I actually had to get from Lids because they didn't have it in my size at the Mitchell & Ness site. So I was able to grab that from Lids. They only had one size available, and it was the size that fit me. So I'm like, you know what? I already got the other 3. Might as well just finish the set off. And in legacy form, those are the only, because they didn't make Orlando Pace at this point. They didn't make Azakim or anything like that at this point. So those are the only ones they made from that 99 team were those 4 players. And they did them all in legacy form, but it is what, and they're all the blue jersey. It's all the blue, none of the white ones, but it's the blue. I kind of wish it was the white one because then I could get the Super Bowl patch and have it put on there. I know it wouldn't be accurate because the Super Bowl, the jersey they wore was heat pressed, name and numbers. But it is what it is. Anyhow, that is it. I know I've gone on for about an hour. Main reason was to show that over there, right? The Reverse Retro 2.0 OV jersey in the fold. Finally got one of those in the fold. So thank you to Memorable Authentic again. That is a memorable item. So thank you again to Memorable Authentic, based in Canada, doing custom work. I don't think they do all jerseys. I know they do a lot of autograph jerseys. So this was something that I don't want to speak out of turn, but I would say it's probably not the norm for them. But they did do all the Reverse Retro 2.0s. They had them all available at one point. I don't know if that's the case anymore. Obviously, we're going back over a month now, probably. But the wait was well worth it. Beautiful. I think they really knocked it out of the park. The customization, it looks perfect. It just looks amazing. So great job by them. And, thank you again, to our member in the Jersey Head community, to John, for recommending this company, because I still wouldn't have one today if I didn't, follow his lead or follow his tip with that site. So glad to have it in, and that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it for me. But I'll be back again. I'll be back again next later in the week, and I'll show the rest of the pickups, be it from what came in the mail or what I picked up at the Mitchell and Ness store for their sale this past weekend with my buddy Big Slim, and yeah, hopefully everyone finished their Christmas gift buying. I did. I just made it, but. But I did. I was able to pick up all the gifts for family and friends. Um, and, it's a big week, obviously. You got Christmas week. You got Christmas coming up on Sunday. Like I said, I'll be back again later in the week with the rest of the pickups. And we'll get it in just before Christmas. So I'll probably have that video up either Thursday or Friday. And be on the lookout for that. I do hope to get back in the Season of the Fan. I don't know if it's going to happen this week with the game being Christmas Eve. It's going to be kind of tough. But we will definitely get back in that series. If not this, I know I keep saying it, but if not this week, certainly by next week. But be on the lookout for that on the channel. And what do you always got to do, right? You got to hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already done so, make sure to hit the bell icon so you get notified to all future content from yours truly. And also, you leave those likes, as many likes as we can. It's always appreciated. And I will see you again, like I said, very soon, later in the week. We'll do the rest of the pickups. Got some really good stuff to share, so be on the lookout for that. And until then, thanks for watching. Another long video by yours truly, but it is what it is. We do get to talk a bit sometimes, but it is what it is. I had some stuff to share, so I wanted to kind of get into it a little bit. All right, everyone, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.